Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Ooh. Yes, there it is. There it is. Bless up one and all. Welcome to the Troy Graham Experience. Daddy's Lounge number 8. That's right, number 8. And as the topic, the title of the show says, When the Facts Are Right, Nothing Matters. That's right. Hold on one second. For the good time, make believe. So I was vibing out to some Al Green before I got on today for the good times. I listened to it live. I listened to it live a couple of times just to get myself ready. Excuse me. Yeah, I listened to. I'm back again. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I had to go and check a little something here. But anyway, so I was listening to Al Green before I came on for the good times. For the good times, I have to listen to something positive before I come on. Get that energy, get that thing in my soul. I need to soar, to give what I'm supposed to give when I'm on here, or else I just run on and tell a story. I got many stories, but not today. The title of the show is When the Attitude is Right, Facts Don't Matter. But, let's do like I always do. Start there and bring it all the way here. And then we're going to end up somewhere in the middle by the end of the show because you know me, I'm a writer, so ebbs and flows and where it goes for the good times, huh? For the good times. See, I have to listen to something positive. You might hear some noise in the background doing my laundry. So I have to listen to something positive to come on because if I fill myself up with a bunch of other things, then my energy is not the same. Doing an hour on a show where you basically, if you're talking, in most cases, I'm brand new. Well, this show is brand new, so I'm talking to myself. I'm not brand new to this, but the show is. So you got to fight through these times where it's just you here and you just have to do it. Well, not because you're obligated or anything. No, it's not an obligation. It's a labor of love. It's a labor of love. This is my way of saying to the brothers out there that are fathers, or you might not, someone is out there listening to you. Someone is out here for you. I'm standing tall for you. I'm here. If ain't no one else gonna be here but me. That bright, the ebony, the Nubian warrior in the darkest times. He fought off 300, 300 mighty Spartans. Huh? He fought them off. Uh-huh. Went into Rome and dethroned their empire all by himself. That's right. Made them bow down. Frankie went to England and says, You no longer have a queen. Your real king has arrived. See? When your attitude is right, facts don't matter. Because you believe you could do anything. Attitude could take you anywhere. Anywhere. People will come to you with facts and tell you you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to do it. You will tell yourself that. Man, you don't know how to be no father. You don't know how to be. You better leave now. She's gonna be a headache, man. You're gonna have to pay child support, and you have to deal with your mama mouth, her mama mouth, your mama mouth. I don't know how to do this. Then I got to deal with the crumb snatcher and all that. You know, that's that's the facts of your fear. There it is. The facts of your fear telling you what you can't do. But let's talk about a man. This man here from Lord have mercy. I don't know where the man was from, but I know that he named his son after a cat. He named him Tiger. He named him Tiger, right? So yeah, he named him Tiger. You can come up, Frank Blocko. The link is there. This man named his only son Tiger. Well, his only son with that wife, and he married a Vietnamese woman, right? He told the world in the near future, this man's gonna take over golf. Yawn, yawn, yawn. Ain't nobody black taking over golf. You out your mind. This black father said that. This little black boy here is gonna take over golf. I don't care if he don't call himself black. Your daddy was black, he black. He black and Asian. Blackanese. Whatever you want to call it. But he black. But everybody was like, when you know any black man to play golf? Well, Joe Louis was a great golfer. That's right. Joe Louis. Heavyweight champion. You didn't know that, did you? He's the one that opened up the doors for black people getting into boxing, not Tiger Woods. But anyway, let's get back to Tiger. Nobody believed him. They scoffed at him. Yeah, sure, he can putt real well, but he'll be carrying my clubs by the time he's 18. Fast forward. Man has won more Masters, I think, than anyone. He generated billions, I mean billions of dollars for golf. Who would ever think you could say golf and billions all in the same breath? Not me, because even when he was playing, I didn't watch golf. It's boring. It has no interest to me whatsoever. But the point is that his daddy had the right attitude and didn't give a damn about the facts that other people were trying to tell him. Their facts. No. He said, look, say what you want to me 1 to 1,000 times. I ain't gonna be able to do it, huh? Well, I'm doing it. And by the time when he rises to the top, you will all say his name, and he will be above all of you. And lo and behold, the man named Tiger Woods will always be remembered as a boxing god. A black man. He'll also be remembered for getting his ass kicked by his wife, but that's not here or there. And not here or there, Troy. You got to stick to the program now, damn it. So Tiger Woods' daddy stood by him and said, "You're gonna have the world in your hands, Tiger." Tiger. Nobody believed him. Nobody. Okay. There was another man in Compton. Had some daughters, Serena and Venus Williams. Had little beats in their hair and everything, and they were just hitting the tennis ball harder than most people, most men. By the time they were 15, the world knew about them. 15, 14, the world knew about them. One reporter was talking to them, and he was like, "Do you really believe?" And Daddy was like, "Look, do you really believe that you're going to be as good as your father said?" And she didn't even look. She looked at her daddy, looked at the reporter, Serena, and both her and her sister said in unison, "Yes." Then the reporter started to carry it on a little bit. He was like, where are you? What makes you think you? And the father stepped in. Richard was like, "She already told you what she said, man. Why are you trying to run her down? She told you how it's going to be. She told you that. Why are you going to keep hammering the little girl? Why are you going to keep hammering my daughter? She told you what she said, man. Move on, man. I don't want you talking to my daughter no more." And that's how it was with him. He fight any man down to the ground for his daughter. Or he go get that thing and handle his business. But we're not going to promote that here. Anyhow. So Richard was like, "Man, if you don't get the hell on, get the hell on." Next thing you know, a few years, they got bigger. Their names got bigger. Then they just took over tennis. Like bang, 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 bang. They took it over. You know what I mean? They took tennis over. It was a beautiful thing. They went so far as to become the first female minority owners of an NFL team. How dare they? First it was tennis, now you have the nerve to step into the good old boys club of football. How dare you? How dare you? Coming from Compton with your damn beads in your hair and your loud ass daddy. How dare you? Did it anyway. Then there was a sharecropper. Used to be a boxer, but his boxing dreams fell apart. He got married, had kids, and he became a sharecropper, basically picking whatever he needed to pick during the day to feed his family, taking odd jobs to feed his family. His name was Joe Jackson. You may or may not have heard about him. Quick to whoop your ass, Joe Jackson. Don't be touching what's mine. Don't be touching what's mine. Joe Jackson. Black History Moment. That's right. This man here told the whole world, my children are going to be the biggest R&B group ever. And I do mean ever. I'm like, man, you don't know what the hell you talk about. Your boys sing in a damn strip club. That was their first gig. Sing in a strip club. The hell is wrong with you? He sings in a strip club. You got beat up and robbed the first night they made some money going by the movie. You put them boxing skills to use and tag one of them, but the other two got you, Joe. You're slowing down, Joe. You're slowing down, Joe. How you gonna handle them boys when they get older and teenagers and don't want to do what you say, Joe? Hmm? Bang, 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 bang. Now look at them. Who don't know the Jacksons? The Jacksons gave birth to Michael Jackson. I think y'all might have heard of him. Gave birth to Janet Jackson. You may or may not have heard of her. Tito Jackson. You may or may not have heard of him either, you know? And all the other Jacksons. You may or may not. Raby Jackson. You know, you may or may not have heard of them. Okay? That's Joe Jackson. Another daddy that said, I got the right attitude. Facts don't matter to me. You know? They actually patented the Jacksons after the Temptations somewhat with the 5 mics and all that. You know? That's right. And New Edition is definitely patented after the Jacksons. And all because this man was a sharecropper, or basically just a farmhand picking potatoes, whatever he had to pick to feed his family. Right? Every day, 8 to 10 hours a day in that field, tearing his hands up every day. He believed. He came with an attitude that said, I don't care about today. Today will always be today, but I'm planning for a better tomorrow. Even if even if no one else can see it, I can see it. And I'm going to make them boys see it, right? Edit name. Why do I need to edit name for? Hold on a second. I see you. I'm trying to bring you up. It says edit name. How about if I just put Miss Battle? I'll be there in a minute, Miss Battle. I see you. Oh, shit. Now you're gone? I don't know what happened, Miss Battle. Just try and come back on here. I don't know what happened. My apologies. Set to edit name. So go ahead, edit your name and jump back on here. But, you know, what I was talking about with all these fathers, they had the same thing. They had an attitude that says, I shall not allow myself to fail, and I shall not allow my children to fail. I will take everything on my shoulders, but I will always push them to their limits, even when they don't want to do it. I'm gonna push them. I'm gonna push them. I'm gonna keep pushing them. You know, just keep churning them out, churning them out. And that's what they did. Joe Jackson, Richard, Richard Williams, Tiger Woods' daddy. They just kept coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. One stop, would not stop. Imagine that. So when you're sitting out there and you're saying to yourself, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Then you're holding yourself in place. Imagine if you were a ship and you drop anchor. And man, you're still on the wave, so it seems like you're moving, but you're not. That's the water moving. That's not you moving. And then one day you wake up, and it's 2, 3 years later, and you're like, 2, 3 years later, and I've been standing here in place all that time. I haven't done anything. Yeah, you lost all that time because you didn't have the right attitude. You gave in to the fear of your facts. When I'm saying facts, it's FACTS. I know it sounds like I'm saying FAX because I got a thing when I speak, an accent. Some people say it's an accent, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. That's the facts of who I am. Anyhow, I'm not sitting up here telling you that I didn't give into the fear of those facts either, because that would be a damn lie. There's been times that they were in school, and I would hustle because I have a interesting background. So I would, when I say hustle, I'm not talking about drugs. So get that out your mind. I would hustle. I would be like, I got no food. Okay, well, let me see what food banks are close by me. I got to hit them up, and I'll hit up 2 food banks as much on because I was on the bus at that point. I wasn't. My card broke down, so I was on the bus. So, and you know, I had a carry-on suitcase. I had a travel suitcase. What am I talking about? With the wheels and everything, and I will pack that up as much as I could. I had a lawn trash bag. Had that. I go to from one food bank to the other. If I could walk, that'd be great. Most of the time I couldn't, and sometimes the buses would drive past me because I'll get so tired I had to stop. One bus driver looked at me, sucked her teeth, and drove off. But I had to get this food home to my children, man. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So the facts didn't matter, just my will and my attitude that says I got to do this. And that's what the heck I did. I got them that food. And then by the time got home and put it away, I had to go pick them up. The school had an after school program, which I just barely made it back in time to pick them up. So then I had to walk home with them downhill, past the hood, as they say, past the projects. Because we lived in a house with the project right up the street. And I'd be like, look, I ain't cooked yet because I was out doing some things, but I promise you, when we get some rest and we'll go home and cook, you know? And then I remember I can tell you some stories about my childhood, my parents and all that. They used to live in this one bedroom, one room. They were renting a room in a house. And it was 2 of us at the time. I actually lived with my grandmother, so I came down for the summer. So it was just my no, it was two. It was just my 2 little brothers who lived with them, and then I lived with my grandmother. So, and it was a struggle sometimes, man. It was a struggle. So they did what they could do, but that they never really listened to the facts. They never did. They just pushed. When they got the townhouse in this expensive area, the townhouse they got cost more than most single family homes because of the area they were in. And I remember both of them working night and day to keep that place, plus pay the car notes and the light bill and all of that. Put these kids to school, put food on the table. So I got a job at KFC. And what did I do? I asked the manager every night, could I bring home some chicken? And every night I brought home buckets of chicken and more chicken and more chicken and more chicken and apple pies, the big old apple pies from KFC. Got to the point where my mom was like, if you bring home one more bucket of chicken, boy, one more, thank you. But we can't eat no more chicken. They can't eat no more chicken, boy. And I said, all right, mom, how about the pie? Okay, you keep bringing them, but don't bring home no more chicken, boy. Yeah, no chicken. To this day, my freezer's full with what? Chicken. I just bought 10 pounds of chicken legs for $8. I got some breasts in there. I ate all the smoked turkey necks because I'm not getting them turkey wings no more because they just look bloated and injected. I'm not putting it in my body. So my next step is to go to fish market and get some fish. See, I learned how to do stuff. That they taught me how to rob Peter to pay Paul. You know, yeah. I learned a lot of stuff by just watching how they move. You know, I can tell you this story. My dad and my uncles used to gamble on the horses, right? So one day, wouldn't win all the time. So one day, my dad took their lunch money because they always my mother and my dad saved the money for the week for their lunch. He took that lunch money, went out with my uncles, and he won a boatload of money. Because remember, they were on the bus at that time, and she was pissed that he took that little bit of extra money. So he uh, he called her from a payphone. They didn't have cell phones back then. He said, "Look out the window. I'll be there in a few minutes." What am I looking out the window? I'm gonna blow the horn. Look out the window. You're gonna blow one horn. That man went out and won so much money that he bought a car, fully paid for, just paid for, paid the insurance and everything. First car I ever sat in, I was like 12 when that happened, 12 or 13, and that was the first car I ever sat in that had power windows. My mom was like, she was mad, but she was happy at the same time. It's like an episode from Good Times when James took a little money they couldn't pay the rent, but James had some of it. Went to the pool hall and won, and he was able to pay the rent. He came home with that money and with that car, and they shared that car. They went back and forth to work with it, school with it, until he couldn't ride it no more. He never did that again though. But I always remember that man went out and gambled on a horse and brought us back a car. Attitude over facts, baby. Attitude over facts all day long. You know? Whew. I remember that one. And I remember my biological father now. This is in Jamaica. If you know anything about Jamaica, when it's time for elections, it's very dangerous if you go into the wrong area and vote on the wrong party, you could get killed. And so we were of a certain. It was so bad where I went to Jamaica, where my family lived, that the police had put up a barricade. They blocked off the entire block, and this was the main block that took you to downtown Kingston. So they barricaded it. So my father and some of his boys came through with, and they cut off the power. They cut off the power. So my father knew a couple of guys who knew about cars, so they got some tow trucks or whatever, moved the cars out the way. Then he climbed up on a telephone pole and reconnected the power, which made him a wanted man. But he didn't care. He was a master electrician. So he climbed up on the pole. Everybody cheered him. Next thing you could hear the police coming, and I saw him move so quick and slide down that pole, and I didn't see him for the rest of the summer. Attitude over facts. Those things just instilled me to let me know that if you want to do something, it don't matter what anybody else says or thinks. You just do it. You do it because it's the right thing to do. You do it because you're driven to do it. Sometimes want is out the picture. You're driven. You're driven to do it, and in your hardest times when it's pouring down rain, but the sun is shining. By the way, that's how I came into the world. It was a thunderstorm going to my mother, and the sun was shining, bright as day, and that's how I came in the world. Anyhow, anywho, those are the things I grew up seeing, and I was just like, wow, you know, facts, attitude over facts, attitude over facts. You know, it's like my uncle who passed away. He hmm, he he taught me about attitude over facts because he was a medic in the military in Korea, or was it Vietnam? I think it was Vietnam, and then he came back and he was a nurse, and then from there he was studying to pass the bar, right? But some demons popped up in his life and he fell short of his glory. But that's a story for another day. That's a story for another day. You know? And I take everything in. When you're a child, you take everything in and you learn from it. In most cases, you'll either learn from it or you'll internalize it and it will shape the individual you are. And that's where a father would come in to help you because he could see every father knows their child, daughter, son. They can tell by the way they move, even their breath or whatever, something's not right. And that's when you have to come in with a certain amount of be open enough, but still apply enough pressure to say, I love you, but this is what I see what's going on. Now, what is it that you want to do? You're going to sit here and stay in this one place because you're brilliant now. You're brilliant, but brilliance don't mean nothing if all you do is live in your pain, right? It don't mean nothing, right? So that being said, this is why I want my sons to start coming on and sharing some of their experiences with me, right? I'll see if I get that grandbaby of mine to come on here too. Two generations, imagine that. But I remember I was at the bus stop with my son, about to put him on the bus for school, and he was looking at me. He's like, "Daddy, you all right? You look weak." I said, "Yeah, I'm all right. I'm just having one of them days, son." He's like, "Well, get better because we need you, and we don't want you to go away from us." I was like, man, nothing could stop me that day. Nothing, you know, nothing could stop me that day. And I'm sure all of y'all have a story like that. You know why you have that? Because you put your feet down and you said, I'm going to stay. Through this thunderstorm and the sun might be shining, but on the other end of that, the thunderstorm, on the other end of that thunderstorm is sunshine. This fatherhood thing is, like I like to call it, a blessing and a burden. Because when it gets its heaviest, is when you learn your deepest truths about you and those children that you're raising. Because sometimes you look at them like, who the hell raised you? Damn sure wasn't me. And sometimes you look at them like, you're amazing. You are freaking amazing, man. This little boy of mine, he was, how old was that boy? He was in elementary school still, so he was about 10. And he won some writing contests, and they gave him some stuff, gave him, put his name, his poem up on the wall, which I didn't even know the boy could write like that, like me. So I was thinking, wow. He's like, Daddy, why are you surprised? Didn't you tell us that our great granddaddy could write, our granddaddy could write, and you write? I'm like, how old are you? He's like, I'm 10. Wow. Yeah, I did. I forgot. You shouldn't be surprised that I could write, Daddy. So he won some contest where he had to read his poem in front of the new incoming teachers. This is at the Board of Education. He had uh, he had to read his poem. It's called Blue. And yeah, I remember the name. It's called Blue. So he had to do it in front of all the new incoming teachers, the mayor, and the director of the board of ed. I don't know if that's the exact title. So all day I made him practice, and I would time him. I would say, take a breath here, go. Take a breath here, go. And this rhythm, just I taught him about rhythm and flow. So the next day I said, he said, we're gonna practice. I said, no, we're not, because I don't want you to forget or get nervous. He's like, I'm not nervous. I'm fine. Confident as anything. I'm like, you're not nervous. We had to take two buses. No, we had to take a train and two buses to get where we needed to be, right? So I got him there, and then we had to wait a little bit. Then they finally called him up, and then he was like, I was like, are you nervous? He's like, Dad, I got this. That little 10-year-old went up there and knocked it out the first time. No pausing, no blinking, no nothing. Killed it on the first try. I couldn't be no prouder, man. I said, boy, I told you. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, I didn't. But I believed in you. I didn't tell you. I believed in your ass, but I didn't. I didn't tell you. What I told him was, hey, if you get nervous, you just look for me in the crowd, and I'll just look for me in the crowd, and I'll be right there. I'm not leaving your side. Here, I'll be there for you. Gave me the big old smile. I said, I got this, Dad. I got it. I got it. Trust me, I got it. Boy went out there and knocked it out on the first try, and they all jumped up. And one teacher was like, I want him in my class. No, your school, your class is in the city. We live like county city area. I don't know what school she went to was a war zone. That's what they. That's why she wanted him. She wanted students like that to show the other kids. But I really didn't want my son to be kind of like a Trojan horse or anything like that. But anyway, again, attitude over facts, baby. Attitude over facts. You know, you can do anything. You can do anything if you stop believing what you're hearing, the negative, and believe in what the truth is telling you in your heart and in your mind, because that's God talking to you, telling you, you got this, right? Then you get up there and you don't got it because you gave into the human frailty of fear. Don't give into that. Well, let me just be blunt. I failed so many times that I have no choice but to succeed. I'm going. Let me repeat that. I have failed so many times that I have no choice but to succeed, and I will do just that. Please believe that I will. But yeah, let me go on and tell you about my oldest now, right? So he never wanted to join the basketball team. He's 6'3", never wanted to join the basketball team. He shot up in his high school years. So he's about 6'3", he's about 6'4" now. So this teacher, Mr. Jones, was like, man, I'm gonna sign you up. You're gonna be happy too when you see the coach. His coach was his junior high school teacher who took a liking to him and really learned how to work with him because my son's artistic. All right. So he that teacher knew how to work with him. So once he found out he was the basketball coach, he's like, "You gonna be my coach?" He said, "Yeah." So he got him on the team, and at first he looked a little bit confused on the court. But what the one thing the boy could do is jump up there and grab that rebound. And let me tell you something. They won a lot of games because they won a few games because of him at first, but then they just started winning more so than they lost because he was grabbing them rebounds and passing it to the open man, who passed it back to the point guard, who got it into the one who could score. Common sense, right? And they all looked to him after that. Yo, we want you to play some defense and grab that ball, grab that rebound. That's what we want you to do. Okay. So yeah, it's beautiful, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that attitude over facts. Yes, sir. Attitude over facts. Because not every day you're gonna wake up and have something inspirational to say to your children. Hell, when you wake up, you might not even have anything inspirational to say to your damn self. But something's gonna something, whether it be who you pray to or the faith that you have, something. No. Hey, that's you ice. But something's gonna happen that's gonna kickstart you. And then it's your job or your duty to take some of that inspiration and kickstart them. Because I'm a firm believer in how you go to sleep is how you wake up. You go to sleep at peace, you wake up in peace. You go to sleep angry, what you gonna do? Wake up angry. So, like I said, I'll play music to them. I play music as they fall asleep, and to this day, it's still internalized in them, even though they're grown men now, or young adults. Well, grown men, they 20, you know. So it's just strange for me to say that my son's a grown man. Now, his sister, she grown. She's 35, but still, she's a young adult to me. No, she is what she is. But yeah, I'll never forget that. And his sister was something a little bit different, man. She was a tough somebody, you know. But she came home one day and she's like, "Mom, I got a part in the school play." She was like, "Everybody was." I was like, "Good, but I'm not going to take it." I'm like, "Why?" She said, "Because I can't dance." I'm like, "The hell if you can." I said, "Where's your Michael Jackson Thriller album?" I knew where it was because her mother would always put it in the same place. It's right there. So I said, "Come on." We put that Thriller album on for 2 weeks, and she stepped on my feet for 2 weeks. I would raise the left foot, tell her this, move this way, move that way, showed her a little bit. And she's like, "I got it." I said, "You gonna come off? You gonna stop stepping on my feet now with your big roast stompers?" She's like, "Nope. I'm gonna keep stepping on your feet on purpose." And that's what she did. So by the time she got up there, she had all the steps, she had all the lines. So we get there to the school, and this uh, jackass of a teacher told her, "Oh yeah, I replaced you. You gonna tell a child that you replaced her the night of the play? I mean, right before she's supposed to get on." So she came back, running back to me and her mother, crying. "Him told me I can't go on." I'm like, "Who?" So his mother's like, "I'll take care of it because no, because you're gonna get upset." Too late for that. I was upset. So I went to talk to the brother, and she was like, "There's nothing I could do about it. I chose for someone else on there." Why? Because it's my choice. As soon as he said that, I said, "Walk past him and go up on that damn stage. He ain't gonna do nothing. Go." And I stood in front of him too. I said, "You can't move me." So she went up there, and her and the little girl did the same part. So, her and the little girl did. The little girl was all uncoordinated. Yes, to answer your question, off beat, couldn't dance on beat. Figure it out. Anyhow, so this little girl went up there, and she seriously danced like she's stepping on my feet. But I was so pissed at her principal because he's the one who did that. especially when I found out why he did it. Because he was checking for her grandmother. This married bastard was checking for her grandmother, and the grandmother was like, "You married and you fat." No, kept saying no, and so to pay her back because he's such a nasty punk, he decided to tell my daughter, you can't get in the play on the day of the play, the night of the play. And I told her, walk your ass up there. He ain't gonna do nothing. You sure? All right, I'm going. Yes, you are. Crying and everything. Her mother was like, come back. I see you getting angry. Just come on back. And her grandmother was one of them loud women, like, you tell him, baby, he can't do that to my grandmother, to my grandbaby. You go up there, baby. You go up there and shine, baby. What she used to tell her. She used to tell her, that one monkey don't stop no show, baby. You go up there, baby. Oh my God, miss that lady, man. Miss Bertha. But and he was so hot, the school teacher. But then again, see, he had the wrong attitude. You don't take out your because you got rejected by her grandmother. You're taking it out on the child. Not as long as I'm around, you're not. And that's when, honestly, whoever's listening, that's when your child needs a strong father, no nonsense type father that says, we ain't gonna do this in front of the kids. We go outside and settle this. Because I don't want them to see what I'm gonna do to you or what you might do to me. But something, hey, if you want to do it, we can do it. Ain't no more need for talking. Not when it come to them. Not when it come to them. You know, that's that attitude you have to carry sometimes with some people to check them. That's why they need you. That's one of the reasons why they need you. But they always gonna need you. But that's why they need you, fathers. Because there's no way her mother could have dealt with that by herself. That was a whole grown ass, obese ass man. It's about 6'3". He's big and nasty and just a heavy breather. We don't get off him. Pause. We're just gonna get off him and move on. Because I don't have nothing pleasant to say about the man. But that was a good day for her. She learned something that day to be strong. And she said, ever since been strong. So yeah. Boy, but I was so hot that day. Yes, I'm chewing online. I'm chewing on the sound off. But then I could always remember that some times where I learned from from other men, from other fathers, just things that I wouldn't have gleaned myself. A lot of times because I, it's always been that for some reason I've met a lot of people that were very selfless. They gave of themselves to others, and coming up, when you a teenager and so forth, you look at it like it's kind of weak. I mean, he didn't have to do all this for such and such and such and such. But at the same time, I'm benefiting from this selflessness. But then I'm saying he don't have to do it for anybody else. See how confusing teenagers are. But you know, that's another thing I learned to pay the hell attention. Right? Pay attention, and you'll learn something. One of the greatest lessons I ever learned was from my grandmother. She, if I told this story before, let me know. But anyway, we were coming home and we saw this wallet that was on the steps. We lived in co-ops. We called them the coops, but it was by the steps in the second court. We lived in the third court. So my grandmother picks up the wallet and she goes through it, see the man's license, and say, "Oh, he lived right here." So she's like, "Well, let's go home and drop off these groceries and put them away, and then we'll go back out and give him his wallet." I'm like, "Why don't we just go do it now?" She's like, no, we got stuff in here that'll melt. So it's just meat and other stuff was going on. So we go find this man's apartment in the second court. Mm-hmm. And this little old lady, if I'm 13 at the time, she's 73. She's 73 years old. So I'm 73. She's 73. I'm not 73. I'm 13. So we go knock on this man's door, and he doesn't even open the door up all the way. He talks to her with the chain on. And the first thing out of his mouth is, "What do you want?" Not hello, but what do you want? Like, this little old lady can hurt you? That was my first thought. My second thought was to kick the door in his face. Kick the chain door so hard it hit him in the face. That was my second thought. Anyway, she's like, don't. Give me a look like, don't. So she's like, oh, excuse me, sir. I found a wallet. He's like, let me see. This is your wallet? He's like, yes. Slammed the damn door in my grandmother's face. And I went up to the door and I stood backwards, and she's like, put your foot down. Let's go. I said, no, I'm going to kick his damn door. Just like that. I so mad I didn't realize I cussed. And she boxed me in my mouth with them silver bracelets that she had that were over 100 years old. Bust my lip. So when we got home, she explained it to me. She gave me a hug. She said, sit down. You know why I boxed you today? I was like, yeah, because I said, damn. She's like, no, I didn't hear that part. You're lucky. She said, because you were being rude and didn't understand what was going on. But I said, well, with the rude man? She's like, yeah, he was rude, sure, but what's going on with his life that this grown man wouldn't even open the door up for a little old woman like me? I said, I didn't look at it like that. She said, no, you didn't, because you're quick to anger. You're a child. But I want you from now on to pay attention, okay? Don't ever just react or overreact to something. Try to look into it so you understand what's going on. This way you'll have a better chance of making it home. And that's what I learned from her that day. How to really just look into things and understand the true reasoning of the true facts of what's going on. And to calm down my stinking attitude. Yeah. Which all leads back to the title, Attitude. When your attitude is right, the facts don't matter. You know? I mean, because I could throw some more fathers out there that LeBron James. Look at him. His son in the NBA, Look at Magic Johnson. His father, would his father ever believe that he would be owning, he'd be a minority owner in the Dodgers, Lakers, and the Redskins, even though he gave up his rights to the Lakers and went out and did some other things, but he did it. He owns a female basketball team as well, and everybody's winning. Imagine that. And he's the one that got a guy by the name of LeBron James to come to LA, and then they won another title. And LeBron James, what he do? Got his son to come to LA. Attitude over facts. I love it, man. I love it. I can't tell you no more, no less. I just love it. There's a boxer, Aaron Superman Davis, who I had the pleasure of interviewing and getting to know the brother a little bit. He always said, Troy from Baltimore. I know, Troy from D.C. I'm like, Aaron, I'm in Baltimore, baby. I'm from the Bronx originally, just like you, but I'm in Baltimore. Oh, Aaron Davis. Troy from D.C. Like, yeah, so his father trained him. And he went on to be a champion, two-time champion, welterweight and in 154. A guy by the name of Bronco McCard or something like that beat him twice. You would think this white boy who's wear cowboy hats and everything, no way in the world he was going to beat this cat from the Bronx. Well, not entirely true, because that white boy trained with James Toney and his trainer. Can't judge a book by its color, can you? So yeah, Aaron Davis. Aaron Superman Davis. Big up yourself, Aaron. You know, and it's Chop Corley. I had the pleasure of interviewing him and getting to know that brother. That brother's a cook and a trainer. And he's a merchandiser. That brother does damn. Yeah, I keep telling him he's Jamaican. But yeah, he got kids too. I think one of them's a lawyer. So he you know, yeah, he puts up video. He still cook for his grown children, and I think he took one of them out to dinner when she passed the bar. I don't think one's a doctor as well. So he's a lawyer and a doctor. Imagine that kid from grew up poor in D.C. went on to be world champion twice, and he got a daughter that's a doctor, another one that's a lawyer. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Lost his brother, his older brother, to crime on the D.C. streets when he was world champion, and he bounced back from that, and he raised his kids and his brother's kids. So that's about a total of 14 children. Now it takes a lot of attitude to do that. It takes a lot to raise 14 children. Hell, it took a lot to raise four, and that adding 10 more. Woo, Daddy. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give that brother a call. See if I can get him to pop up on Daddy's Lounge one day, man, and speak on that. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Wow. Just imagine that. Hmm. I can't help but smiling thinking about that, man. Brother, if y'all get a chance, go. It's under here, under the Troy Graham Experience. Go watch that interview I did with Chop Chop. You gonna laugh. You gonna laugh. You gonna laugh. Just trust me. Go watch that interview. Chop Corley. That man funny. Just go watch it. Phew. I did so many interviews on here with boxers, and I appreciate every last one for giving me their time. But Chop, man, I couldn't stop laughing with that brother. Could not stop laughing with that Bama boy. Now look, I got about 8 minutes. This is where in the show I would tell the guests, if you want to put your social media out there, go ahead and do it. You want to market anything, go ahead and do it. But since I'm my own audience, it's Troy Graham Experience, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Daddy's Lounge. Welcome, welcome. This is what we would call a place for fathers to come and just woosah, breathe a little bit, share a little bit, grow. Because believe it or not, we feel. You hear you see how big my hands are, right? You see, listen to. I got lotion on today, and my hands are still rough. My knuckles used to be real. I can't see if they're on camera, but they used to be real black from boxing, all that dead skin. But pow, pow, pow. I used some lotion over time, and it just cleared it up. Some coconut butter. I used some coconut type stuff I got from Amway, which is now Quick Star, and I cleaned up my knuckles because they were black. I had arthritis from all the punching. Right? See, you can still see this one is protruding out. Right? So actually, that's just a comment on my dry skin. They don't have nothing to do with the hell I'm talking about today. I get to talk about myself with my own show. But I'm having so much fun doing this, man. Hopefully, I'm reaching somebody and they'll, touching somebody. That's all I wanted to do ever since I started this on Facebook. Because I really didn't get responses until months into it. Every day I would write something. You know how hard that is to come up and write something positive every day. Every day. Is you know how that is? Hmm? For the good times. Yeah. It's hard, man. Just like waking up every day and putting a fire under your children saying, look, we gonna make it. We gonna make it. We're going to make it after all. Anybody know where that song is from? I'm showing my age, right? Is that from Alice, y'all? Remember Alice, the story about the waitress? One of them was named Vera, one was obviously named Alice, and the cook was named Mel. No, that wasn't from Alice. We're gonna. See, now that's gonna haunt me. I gotta go Google the theme song. I know it's not from Alice. It's from something else. We're gonna make it after all. Why hell can I remember what we're gonna make it after all? See, I don't remember now. It's killing me. I'm gonna have to get on Google and go Google the joint. Hmm. Interesting. What can I remember? Why indeed? It's all your fault. Had me singing, had me feeling all good and positive today. Then I sang a song I didn't even know the damn still had in me. There's another very powerful lesson I learned. This is from the Cosby Show. The episode where Vanessa brought her fiance to the house and nobody knew who the heck he was. He thought that she introduced him to the family already, but she didn't. So it wasn't his fault. So uh, Heathcliff, Heathcliff, Dr. Huxtable was like, look, I'm sure you come from a great family and all that, but imagine this. Pick out your favorite steak, get some potatoes or whatever else you want to put on it, put with it. Sounds good, doesn't it? He's like, yes, sir. He's like, okay, whatever condiments you need, you get them. Now imagine you're in a great restaurant and they serve that to you on a trash can lid. He's like, well, why would I want that? Exactly. Why would you want it? Why would anybody else? Why would you? Why would anybody else want it? That's another metaphor I always remember. Serving that on a trash can lid. Eating on a memory. Yeah. There's no place I'd rather be but with you. That's Al Green. I'm slipping from different things to different things. It happens. I got 2 more minutes. It happens. It happens. I'm not bipolar or anything like that, or HDHD. I probably am a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm not that. This is called the freedom of being me. Now that they're all grown, all four of them, I miss hanging out with them when we had so much fun when they were little, man. Had a lot of fun. Playing hide and go seek, going to the basketball court. My feet were killing me because I couldn't afford a pair of shoes. I was buying them shoes. I couldn't afford no damn shoes. Shoot. Teaching her how to ride a bike. Uh, I still remember that. That's one of my great memories. Buying her first bedroom set. I remember that. I remember teaching them how to ride a bike. You want to know something? I taught all four of my children how to ride a bike, and I don't know how to ride a bike. What did I just say? I said I taught all four of my children how to ride bikes, and I don't know how to ride a bike. But Troy, that don't make no sense. But yeah, it does. Why? Attitude over facts. Gotcha. Remember that attitude over facts. You tell yourself you could do something, and you roll with the right attitude, and you listen to that voice that comes to you and say, "Look, you can do it, but you got to, you can do it, you can do it." That's God telling you, and He gonna guide you too. You just have to listen. Sometimes things around you, you know, will you'll be amazed how He talks to you. Just you'll be amazed before I get off here. You'll be amazed. I'm trying to find a for instance for you. I was walking one day. I walked out my house. I was so mad, and I just needed a reason. I wanted someplace to go. I was mad, and this guy, I was. Then I just sat quietly and I said, "Well, give me a sign, Lord. I need help." Car passed by twice. I think he was blasting Bob Marley. Get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. He passed by one time, then he passed by another time. Stand up for your rights. So tired of the ism schism. I'm like, there it is. I'm sitting down and allowing certain things to happen where I need to get up and just take care of them. Why the hell you let laundry pile up? Hmm? Why let the dishes pile up? Why let them boys get away with this, that, and the third sometimes? Because I was tired. And just listening to that song told me I had to do something. With that being said, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring enough to even pop in and pop out. Appreciate it. And I will be back on Friday. Same experience time, same experience channel, same experience man. Bless up and thank you.